Through two weight classes, West Virginia and Oklahoma State. Jared mentioned early the 34-team NCAA championships in wrestling for Oklahoma State, and obviously great individual success as well. 145 individual NCAA champions. You see the number of All-Americans. You've got Olympic athletes this program has produced, and 3 Hodge Trophy winners, including Wyatt Hendrickson last year, who pulled off that huge upset at the NCAA championships over Gable Stevenson. So if you want it in wrestling, Oklahoma State has accomplished it.
Well, and I know, like they said before, as we did in the conversation we had with them, it's been 15 years since they've won a national championship as a team. And so I know that they're excited about that history, but at the same time, they want that to be current. And obviously the top dog at the moment is Penn State and what they've put together. So that's basically what you're working to compete with at the national level, is that. And they definitely, in the investment in David Taylor and the investment in they're making, is Oklahoma State definitely wants to be back in that area.
Casey Swiderski ranked 13th in the country against TJ Langley at 149 pounds.
Ooh. Nice takedown.
Yeah, Swiderski jumps out in front.
3 points.
And we talked at the top about the changes in West Virginia's lineup. This is one of them. TJ Langley in for Willie McDougall, the Oklahoma transfer, who's wrestled very, very well this year. But he's out today. Langley's in there and up against one of the top wrestlers in the country at 149 pounds.
You know, Swiderski had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but as this year goes on, you can only hope to imagine that comfort and that drive is only going to, you know, exceed here at Oklahoma State. Obviously, he was one of the top wrestlers in the country at Iowa State in that program. And then to be around this room, talking to Sergio Vega after his match, he just won, you know, tied this match up at 3 apiece, got the Cowboys on the board, and he wasn't satisfied. You know, one of the big things was youth is no excuse to not go out there and dominate. And I think that that's something that Swiderski has carried with himself throughout his career, gets another takedown there on the edge. And, you know, being able to come into a new program with a new face and, you know, just continue to excel.
Well, I think that sometimes the mentality of youth, too, the idea that you're going to be able to dominate every single time. And the reality is these other guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the guy who wins by, you know, technical fall, major decision fall every single time. Those guys are very, very rare. Very rare, right? That just doesn't happen a lot. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of training. Swiderski just tracking him on the edge and shoots sort of that high crotch, changes it into a single, and is able to finish it relatively easy.
Swiderski with 2 takedowns in the first period, a 6-1 lead, and Langley begins period 2 on the bottom. Swiderski, a 2-time NCAA qualifier. Didn't compete last year, though, was injured in the preseason. But he's back out there this year as Langley gets a point for the escape. It's a 6-2 Swiderski lead, and the ride time point that he's got that in his hip pocket at this point. 1:07 in ride time. We approach the end of this period.
With the absence of, you know, Richard Figueroa today from Oklahoma State's lineup, Swiderski's the first transfer that we've seen for the Cowboys today. And I think comparing this transfer class to last year's transfer class, the big thing that stood out to me was last year, the transfers that Coach Taylor was able to get, they were graduating. It was their final year. They were 5th-year transfers for the Cowboys. Now they get guys like Swiderski, Facundo, and Ryder, who have multiple years of eligibility to build on once they come to Stillwater.
We head to the second, and it's a 6-2 lead for Swiderski. Jared mentioned those transfers from last year. Wyatt Hendrickson, the transfer from Air Force, won a national championship at heavyweight, went on to win the Hodge Trophy. And Dean Hamidi, another transfer, came from Wisconsin, won a national championship for Oklahoma State last year. So that worked out well. Those 2 portal guys.
And those are 2 portal guys who were dominant before they were at Oklahoma State, and then you see them go there and just be able to completely step that up a level. No, I mean, obviously why it was one of the biggest upsets in NCAA wrestling history, a historic moment for the sport. But Dean was just as dominant throughout the season. It was really amazing to watch. That's what it intrigues me with this transfer class, that he's able to get guys, you know, of that caliber from other schools. I mean, Ryder and Facundo were both Penn State prospects. You know, Ryder was there at M2 with David in State College. So, you know, these are guys who have been around his coaching style, around his process longer. Get to see them for a couple of years in the orange and black.
You know, in the modern era, in relation to how this transfer stuff works, is that there's two elements. Sometimes you go to a place and you're just not having the success you want, or you're stuck behind somebody who's a perennial All-American. You're not going to crack the lineup, so you're looking for opportunities elsewhere, and you get some transfers that way. And then there's the other part of the transfer case where there is NIL money and things like that, so people are sometimes looking for better deals along those lines. And right here, you see Langley doing a pretty good job on top. He's burying Swiderski down into the mat, which I'm sure can't make the Oklahoma State people all that excited. There's he run that power half.
Yeah, cranking on that left shoulder.
Right? And what you see Swiderski doing is locking his own hands, trying not to get pulled over, which is technically, we like to call that stalling in a lot of places. And there's the warning for stalling on the bottom. He's pushing that head down, really trying to crank on him. He's been on top this whole period. And now Swiderski might be regretting of taking down.
There's the stalemate. That draws the consternation of the Mountaineer fans.
Well, because you just rewarded the bottom guy for laying there, is basically what happened. Hey, you're laying there, you're getting beat up, let me give you a fresh start. And what's he going to say, that Langley's not working on a pin, he's working on rolling that freaking power half, right? So, I mean, there's these decisions that officials make sometimes that put them in control of some things when just, I don't know, stay out of it. Now Swiderski gets to his feet, has a chance to escape now before the end of the period, which, man, he wasn't moving anywhere before that.
It was a great job by Langley being able to keep his composure there. You know, being able to throw a boot in quick and get a quick little return with a trip and finish this period on top. Spends the entire second period on top of Swiderski.
Could be another warning for stalling, really. I wouldn't be surprised to see Langley pick top. You see Tim Flynn going to him, pick top. No, did he just... I picked top. He's beating him up down there. There's been no match on his feet, right? Swiderski's killing him on his feet. So pick top. You've just ridden him for 2 minutes.
6-2. Again, he spent the entire period on top. Swiderski had the ride time point. Now that's obviously gone, and Langley's close to a minute.
Right? So
Swiderski got that head down on the mat, but it was all in the sense of sealing off. He reaches back in to try and catch that ankle when Langley throws the boot in, but to no avail because Langley's directly on that crossface. And I believe, I can't see the backside, but he does have a bulldog there.
yeah, he's got his ankle hooked right there, working that crossface.
So we're down to a minute and a half. I mean, Langley ultimately is going to need some offense to win this.
Well, he's been working at turning him, and he's done a pretty good job, not just riding, but trying to get him in a position where he's beating him up pretty good. Swiderski up to his feet now, as he has a chance to get out, which would just definitely put him in the driver's seat.
There's the stall.
There's a stall on Langley because he's on his feet and he's not getting him back to the mat. So now red gets a point for warning green for stalling, but at the same time, I don't blame Langley for taking that warning, because if he lets him out, he lets him go, he's got no shot.
A little bit of a work towards a spladle there, cross body ride, maybe trying to just throw something.
Now the question is, will he warn Swiderski again, who's now just facing up, trying not to get turned mostly.
Final 20 seconds coming up.
There's a warning for red and a point. So we've evened out the stalls for each guy. It's going to end up with 2.5 minutes of riding time, but it's going to lose 8-4. I mean, just a nice job of, you know, a lot of times they'll call that as a warning too for like sticking your foot out on the floor like that. Like purposefully sticking your foot out on the floor, right? As opposed to we're scrambling and we end up out there.
Just 6 seconds left. See if Langley can spend 2 complete periods on top. That's the goal at this point. He'll accomplish that, but it'll be Swiderski taking an 8-4 victory.
I mean, I got to tell you, that was some good riding on Langley's part, man. There's no way Swiderski was ready for that. Just no way that he was ready for that kind of getting beat up down there on the bottom that way.
6-3 Oklahoma State. We move on to 157, which we anticipated being the marquee matchup between number 1 and number 2 in the country. But unfortunately, Ty Waters, who did compete for West Virginia Friday at North Carolina and really had to give it everything he had to win that matchup, just didn't quite look right. Waters obviously injured, out today, replaced by Cole Evans. And number 2, Landon Robidoux, is on the mat for Oklahoma State. Let's go across. Well, let's let this play out here for a second. There's the trip. Evans trying to score first. Pretty close. Mountaineers looking for points. Nothing yet.
That should be 3 right there.
West Virginia looking to score early.
No.
Robidoux with good defense.
Evans is a little bit of a problem here because he's down there pretty low. He's going to try to roll him through, but he's in the, see Robidoux just working towards him. He's going to get a takedown here eventually, and maybe get a chance to turn him.
Yeah, 3 points there for the Oklahoma State wrestler. Let's go across to Jared real quick with Corey Swiderski.
Casey, congratulations on a hard-fought win there. You know, you get a guy who's really comfortable from the top position, you know, really working that power half and legs. You know, how are you able to just stay tough and, you know, get a win for your team?
Let the match end.
Yeah, I mean, you go out and get a quick start there, though, you know, build up that lead, and then, you know, it's experience. You know, your first year in Stillwater, it's, you know, getting things done.
I've been doing this stuff my whole life. Yeah. There's nothing to learn from that except, I don't know, I got a long way to go. Got to keep figuring it out, keep showing up, and it's a long season. I got the bottom, I guess. You know, it's 3 points. That's what I got to do.
All right, Casey, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the year.